Last week on the Untouchable Super Panel, Chaotic Truth lost his mind.
I believe that the majority of blacks are really stupid.
He said most black people are stupid. Said they allow themselves to be exploited.
I'm eating off the carcass of black culture. Black culture is absolutely degenerate. It's absolutely degenerate.
Yeah, he actually said that. And that's when Fatty turned the lights on.
Instead of doing general statements, and you and Anton are the kings of these, right? The blacks and the whites and the blacks and the whites and the blacks and the whites. But then when you talk about the whites, talk about a very specific subset of whites, so not every white can be offended. I would call for you in 2026 to do exactly the same thing.
But the moment that flipped the whole room,
you say that black people are controlled by white people or are letting themselves be exploited by white people. You have a Greek brand on your arm or something like that. Aren't you a sorority, dude?
Don't you
have that Greek brand like a slave?
So if we're colonized, why you wearing the brand? This wasn't a debate. This was exposure.
Do you have a Greek symbol branded on your body that is from a fraternity? Do you have it?
Yes. I mean, you guys weren't talking about it, but I went in for 9 hours yesterday or the day before that about Corey Holcomb and how much I despise that ignorant, low IQ Negro. And I think I believe Anton Daniels, he did an incredible job at handling himself against this caveman. The only mistake that Anton did was even go to this guy's studio. But this is what I keep saying, Fatty. Black people need to start practicing classism, because that was a perfect display of why a sophisticated black man with high intellect who thinks in systems should never ever be around these low IQ street blacks, man.
Can I ask a question? I gotta ask one question. Who's more ignorant? The man that knows he's black or the man that doesn't know he's black?
Ali, you don't even have to do that, bro. Ali.
I just want to know.
Hey, Ali, respectfully. Because Chaotic is on some bullshit again. So, Anton is not a nigga. When he went there, provoke him. You've been sucking on somebody. I'm from Detroit, nigga. Let's go outside, nigga. He's not the same people that you complain about every day, Chaotic. I will admit, Corey Holcomb is a mother nigga. Yeah, that's what he is. But you are telling me that Anton going on the next day on his show saying that nigga, I would beat the shit out of him. He's not a nigga too. So why one is a sophisticated man and the other one is a caveman?
Well, you gotta really, Fatty, my wife is an attorney. She doesn't practice, and I've dated. Prior to her, I dated women who were lawyers as well. And one thing I can say about attorneys and lawyers and the way their brains operate, they use a lot of inductive and deductive reasoning, and they use facts and information. Corey Holcomb, like most low IQ blacks, they start talking, right? And they don't have the vocabulary. They don't have the nuance. They can't read rooms. And what Corey did is says, you kiss the white man's ass. Well, a lot of people will say, well, that's just an idiom, right? That's an idiom. That's a part of American culture to say that, right?
Sure.
But maybe Anton took offense to that. I mean, if you sit back and think about the actual physical act of kissing somebody's ass, I mean, it is a sexual act. But I guess people could say, well, no, that's just an idiom. Well, maybe not to Anton. Maybe Anton didn't look at that as an idiom. Maybe Anton looked at it as like, something to be something that he scoffed at. So it was, from what I saw Corey, he threw the first shot. And actually Corey also failed to stay on course with the original argument of Anton. And he kept bringing in white people. Why don't you talk about white people? That wasn't what Anton was saying. So, I haven't talked to Anton in quite some time, man. But who am I to give advice? And I'm a nobody. But I would highly suggest, man, that high intelligent blacks stay away from these types of blacks. And I will answer your question. Yes, Anton went on the next day and said what he said, man. But that's a lot of that is theater, right? You know, a lot of that is theater, WWF type stuff, man, WWE stuff, to be completely honest with you, man. So, and it's good content. It makes up for good
absolutely.
content.
I just want to make sure the last question. So you believe that Anton has the right to be offended by Corey's words by say you kiss white people ass, right?
No.
I mean, yes, I definitely agree that Anton Daniels should not have went on to Corey Holcomb's show, because Corey Holcomb came for a arguing match. He didn't come for a debate. He didn't come for a conversation. As I've stated before in the video that I made about Corey Holcomb and his downfall, which, I mean, guys, listen, there's some wild, I can't even say it's allegations because he's on video saying a bunch of this stuff. So it's more or less of what he said, right? But it's just some wild stuff, man, that he said. But we're just seeing his downfall after Anton Daniels. It's just wild, bro. Because Anton Daniels, what is he doing? He went right back to doing what he was doing before he went on to Corey Holcomb's show. And Corey Holcomb is just steadily just declining, right? But I mean, yeah, you're talking about a guy who's not even willing to come for a conversation or a debate, right? You want to have a debate, right? Here's the thing. Corey Holcomb wanted a debate, but he came unprepared, right? Very, very unprepared. So he ended up making an ass out of himself. Now, guys, here's the thing, right? Now, to this guy's point, because he's saying that you have people who are like Corey Holcomb and, you know, these guys who can't really argue. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, because he wants to say, you want to call these guys niggas, you want to call these guys pretty much talking about street guys. But we do understand there are a lot of street guys who are smart. That's a big fact, right? That's a big fact, right? Here's a good example, right? Your boy Illa, right? Your boy Illosophical. He seems like a street dude. Like, let's keep it a bean. He seemed like a street dude, but he went there with Anton before, right? I mean, but when you hear him talk, man, he's an intellectual dude. He's a smart dude. When he has conversations, he can have a conversation with Anton Daniels. This is a street guy that can have a conversation with Anton Daniels, not somebody like Corey Holcomb. Let's just keep it a bean. And there has been plenty of times Illosophical had conversations with Anton Daniels, and they tried to get somewhere, and they had beef, but they were able to fix all of that. When you have Corey Holcomb, he doesn't even come close to smarts when it comes down to somebody like Ill, right? But for the most part, I definitely think this dude here is Mr. Chaotic. I definitely think he's a grifter. I think he is your guy who's just doing stuff just to go viral. That's what I think, right? That's what I think. But let's continue.
No, not at all. Mm-mm.
So
I believe that I believe that to break it down real quick, street culture is not backed by any institutions, right? It's not backed by any power structures or any systems. The fact that Corey can dictate what is right and what is wrong, and he can be the judge, jury, and execution, only further proves that a lot of these blacks, they lack a level of being in reality. And so the fact that he was going to assault him based on his worldview, and this is how a lot of black men such as Corey end up in the penitentiary or in the grave, because they don't understand that a person like an Anton, he's an institution guy, he's a systems guy. You know, he operates within the courts. Corey doesn't. And that was my biggest problem. My biggest problem was you're bringing uncivilized behavior into the civilized world. And that was my problem with Corey. So yeah. It wasn't, that was my only problem.
Yeah, but they're more civilized. They're more civilized than you. You are the person that when a black person is talking on your show, you play monkey noises. Right? Like, Chaotic, your show, respectfully, I like your show. This is entertaining as fuck. Your show is the most bottom of the barrel. I'm going to fuck with black people so I can get the reaction. You literally FJ Prince on the thumbnail lately on 20 times. You have it all show. You know, he's the bottom of the barrel. You say, oh, these educated blacks are ashamed and jealous of these. Don't laugh, don't smirk. Because that's the thing. I know what you're doing, and I actually respect it because I think you are a character. I believe that Chaotic in real life is a pro-black. He just doesn't want to say it because he doesn't want to go about his way. But I don't think there's nothing more uncivilized that the black person talking about something and somebody start to do noises so we can get around of each other. If Corey and Anton did that, I would look at him crazy. I would be like, Corey, if anytime Anton open his mouth, Corey play the button, I'll be like, damn, Corey, that's what we're doing. So respectfully, once again, I respect what you have saying, but you are laughing right now, and I can take seriously somebody that engages on fuckery day in and day out, and then turns around and says, look at those uncivilized black people over there. You love uncivilized black people. You actually make a lot of profit out of uncivilized black people.
Hello.
Shout out to you and to the people that frequent your space, because you can be a uncivilized black people and white people magnet, and then turn around and says, I hate these people. I can't understand.
That's right. We're not letting the hat fool us, nigga.
Hey, I don't give a fuck about none of that.
And by the way, and I have a fedora too, so if you want, I'll go to put a blazer and a fedora, and we're going to talk with each other at Carl to get you guys.
Well, Fatty, to answer you, Fatty, to answer your question.
You see, he literally has queued up. That's what I'm talking about. It wasn't me. Hey, Chaotic, just a second. Hey, Chaotic, I respect that you didn't play that while I was talking, because that will be hilarious, but it will be kind of bad. So I respect. Hey, thank you, brother, for letting me finish and play this.
Did I see Anton on here? Where's Anton?
I'm gonna answer you, and I'm gonna be very direct.
Go ahead.
I'm eating off the carcass of black culture. Black culture is absolutely degenerate. It's absolutely degenerate, and I'm doing this very same thing that the Arabs, the Chinese, the Koreans, and everybody else does. I'm eating off the carcass of blacks, and that's why I support many blacks. Like, for example, like a John Galt. He says, "Hey, man, I'm eating off the carcass of blacks." A lot of blacks want to be exploited, so if it's the honest to God's truth, man, and I don't see anything wrong with it.
How do you substantiate that most black people want to be exploited? Like, where do you get the data from? Because it sounds like a lot of times when there's ignorant white people that say certain things, and no disrespect to Emily on the panel, but there's most white people I wouldn't say are ignorant or racist. But why do you take the rhetoric of the minority of what white people say that's ignorant and conflate it with the minority of black people as well too? Are most black people trying to do this? Like, and where do you get your data from, Chaotic? Because you do this a lot of times. Most black people are in prison. There's less than 1% of the population of black people engage in violent or homicidal acts. So where do you get your information from to say that most black people are trying to be exploited?
Your names are European names. Your religion is
who gave us European names?
Let me just finish.
Sorry.
Because your names are European names. Mm-hmm. You worship white and Arab gods. Mm-hmm. You try your best to leave black environments. You work for white people. You purchase their vehicles. You purchase their car. You purchase their clothing items. Everything around you is exploitation. And so even our language. I mean, me and you aren't speaking a black language right now. So blacks are. So it's not about.
I don't think, man, we're being exploited. I think what we're doing is we're adapting to a society with our own culture and making stuff out of our own, right? Let's just keep it a bean. Like, we're really doing the best that we can with the best that we have. We adapt while creating our own identity here in America. Now, we already know when I first started this channel, a couple of our videos that were big was because we were talking about culture, right? And the different definitions, people have of culture. And when you look at a lot of different cultures, they tend to take what is ours, right? I mean, you end up seeing a bunch of white folk want to braid their hair. I mean, once again, that is part of our culture, right? That is definitely part of our culture. And you see, your white folk over here taking our dances. I mean, you even see with TikTok. Well, why did TikTok go through the issues that they went through? And from my understanding, they were, I guess, taking people's dances and not crediting them or something. And most of the dances that they were taking were black people's dances, right? So, I mean, it's right there in your face. I don't think that's being exploited. I mean, if we're sitting here allowing that to happen, the reason they stopped that was because they had so many people saying, man, hold on, why are they profiting off of what our people have done, right? Off of the music, man, all black folk have created, right? And I'm pretty sure there was other artists as well, right? But it was mainly coming down to your rappers. And when it comes down to names, I mean, for the most part, I think, when you have your people who are really in tune to their lineage, to where they really come from, they will name their child after that. And that's only if they are, that's only if they, really are into their culture and where they came from. I honestly think he's looking at what we have created as something that is quote unquote being exploited, when it's really not something that's being exploited. It's something that other cultures may want to be a part of, and they want to, bring it and make it their own, which comes down to shared culture. But let's continue.
I never mentioned anything about being in jail or anything of that magnitude. I was just talking about the overall black culture. It's actually, well, let me just finish.
Right, but I'm trying to can you substantiate how they choosing to be exploited? I want you to finish.
I gave you my answer. The fact is that you could use things, you could use small scale things, right? So for example, look at your average dumb black woman. So your average black woman, if she needs her hair, feet, and nails done, or not her hair, she's gonna take her stupid ass to the Koreans. They're
Vietnamese.
I have a friend. I've known her since we were teenagers. To this day, for the life of me, she does not let black women work on her nails. And I ask her, why do you go to these Korean people or Vietnamese people? She says, well, they do it better. They do the acrylic or something better. I don't know, man. And I said, well, why don't you tell the black chicks how to do it? And so it's things of that magnitude. You have a group of people who don't even speak your language. You don't know what they're saying when they're in the store. And let's be honest about it. The Koreans don't get back into these black communities.
Who cuts your hair?
He doesn't cut his hair. He has a f***ed up hairline.
Fatty, may I finish, please?
Never
Fatty?
mind.
Absolutely, sir. We are civilized. We are civilized over here.
I was just asking. I'm not trying to be funny. Like,
no, we are civilized. Let him go.
You're good. Don't worry about it.
My bad.
And so even at the highest levels, like education, when blacks graduate from college, right? They don't build really their own businesses. Even guys in my own fraternity, you got engineers, architects, all types of blacks who have all types of degrees, and they run their asses to the white man's companies. So the thing of the matter is that we allow ourselves to be exploited. So that's what I mean. When you're asking me about facts and data and stats, I don't really have any stats on me, but I just have the reality in which I live in. I know that when I go into an inner city ghetto, I know that the gas stations are going to be owned by Arabs. And I know that when you go in there, they're going to be selling the black population poison. And then there's going to be a group of dumb blacks that are going to be outside peddling drugs like idiots. So the fact of the matter is that, it's not just about me talking about the jails, right? That's too easy. The jails, right? It's the overall society in itself. Even the music, blacks typically listen to rap music. You are allowing poison into your brains. People are shocked that I don't listen to rap. I ain't gonna lie to you. One of my favorite albums is Reasonable Doubt. But the fact of the matter is that, man, we're being exploited all over, and we allow ourselves to be exploited. To land my plane, Ali and Fatty, I'll never forget this. I was in the hood about 20-something years, no, maybe 30 years ago. I was a little kid, and I walked into the store, and there was this goofy-ass black dude laughing. He had to be about maybe 50. The Arab is telling him about Islam, and he said the language of God is Arabic, and the dumb black is just sitting there laughing and giggling, like, "Oh yeah." And I said, "Man, our people are really fucking stupid, man." so it's things like that, man, that really have me going in so hard on black people, Fatty. And Fatty, a lot of it is entertainment too, but a lot of it is truth, man. I've always been like this, Fatty.
It's not a lot of it. Is most of it, because
most of it. Yeah, I agree.
Because once again, I can smell a Pan African when I see one. I can smell the smell. I can smell the smell of fufu. Like you smell like fufu. I can smell it on you. I guarantee that chaotic true real name is. Like
your name. I have a year.
Is that a tether, Fat? Is that what a tether is?
No, chaotic is definitely a tether. No, he's a tether.
I have a
Yeah,
Yoruba
he's a tether.
name. I
Yes,
have a Yoruba name.
Can we just ask Emily, does she know anybody named Donquavius?
The ironic thing is, though, is that
That's all I'm saying.
chaotic will endorse white people by talking bad about black people to white people, so he can feel better.
Uncle Ruckus.
Yeah, so he can feel better about himself. But most black people do what they can to do to survive.
Who is
but
it,
you wake up
Diamond?
every day.
Uncle fucking Ruckus.
Hey,
That's
friends, we have to let Ali finish. Okay, I know y'all excited about it, but let Ali finish, please.
You wake up every day to do everything but be black, my brother Chaotic. You say that black people are being exploited, but then you complain about black people playing the race card and talking about systematic racism. What you talk about, America does to white people as well too. Like white people talk about make America great again. White people talk about the LGBT. White people talk about their guns. So why is it that you wake up every single day to talk about white people's complaints, but you don't validate the black people complaints? But then you say we allow white people to exploit us while you literally show your behind for white people every day. And I'm talking about the ignorant white people too, as well too, because I don't want to go to the extreme like you like going to the extreme. But how can we choose to be exploited when we live in a country where we're trying to survive while we're calling out black white people simultaneously? But you shake hands with those same ignorant white people that talk down on people that look just like you and talk about the Africa you come from.
Would that be considered sucking the white man's dick? I'm just asking a question. I'm not saying that it is.
Well,
if you want a one-on-one, pick me. You can put y'all in the middle because you're being a little bit like Ali asked a very civilized. It was a question or a statement, Ali?
It's a question because he says black people are allowing themselves to get exploited, but you're living in a system where you have to survive. And Chaotic, he loves capitalism, so he's okay with Anton interviewing Charleston White and what's the gay dude name? Fatty.
Fleece Johnson. Matter of fact,
he's okay with Anton having nigga moments to
Ali.
He's not fine with him, and he's fine with him exploiting black people to make.
Matter of fact, the most exploitive people that I see on this space is Chaotic True, making Jay Priest looking like a monkey and going around and parade him around while he got his channel taken and demonetized. Y'all were giving me advice while you're laughing on his face. You do that. Y'all exploit Angel being slow by saying the N-word multiple times. Y'all exploit Theory 111, which was one of the most people in this space talking shit and all that. All y'all do is exploit people that should know better, but actually they don't. So it's kind of funny that y'all say.
Truth be told, I would say that your Africans who come over here to the United States who think highly of themselves, such as himself, who think that they're better than your African Americans, think that, you know, they're beneath them. Because and once again, there was a time, man, where I came across some Africans, man, and you know, I don't know, he probably makes some good money, but he really really tried to little boy me. I'm like, yo, who you think you are, bro? I'm like, man, come on, don't do that, right? Do not do that. But the thing is, man, you know, a lot of times, a lot of these people are mouthpieces for your higher ups, but you have guys like him who will say, well, no, y'all being exploited, right? And I'm pretty sure you can say in some situations or in some aspects we might be exploited, right? Maybe you could say, you know, people like Sexy Red, Cardi B, you know, so they're trying to exploit us in that way. I don't know, you know, one couldn't make an argument of that, but I would simply say that when you have your Africans who come down here who think they're bigger and better than your African Americans, when you just kind of look in the mirror, brother, you do understand, man, that when it comes down to it, they look at you the same way they look at us. You're down here with us. So it's just more like, don't sit over and have the mindset that you have thinking that you're different when you're not. I remember my mama telling me a dang story. I'm gonna see if I can try to put it up here, but my mama telling me a story about I guess a black boy going hunting with a bunch of other white guys, right? And I guess they end up offing the boy, right? And the guys were trying to say that, hey, well, you know, he attacked us, you know, and it's just more like, come on, bro, like, are we serious here? He would be the little black boy, in my opinion, right? To sit over here and be that naive and think that, hey, man, listen, you know, hey, let me talk about them and let me do this I mean, come on, bro. I mean, you even doing the monkey noise. So my question would be, do you have a noise for white folk? Nah, I don't think you have a noise for white folk. I honestly do not think you have a noise for white folk. So he wants to do the same thing that Myron does, right? But it's just more like, we see your grift, right? We see your grift.
Hey, y'all let yourself be exploited by white people while they're literally getting the worst of the worst. And shout out to John God, that piece of and
Right.
y'all come around, pretend like you're the civilized black Negro, and then you step on these people every day, all day, while you pretend that you are not. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Caught. Uninterrupted now.
Yes.
Uninterrupted.
Oh yeah, sure. So I'll answer Ali. I literally mentioned Koreans, Vietnamese, and Arabs. I didn't say anything about whites. I did also mention that whites are the managers and control. They are the managers of and creators of companies that blacks work for. I never mentioned anything about any people. First of all, I'm not surviving. America's the greatest country on the planet. I thank the white man every damn day for founding the damn country and giving me the rights that I have. But to answer your question, bro. I kick in the backs of whites on my show as well. I literally have done live streams kicking in the backs of toothless white loser hillbillies and how they have sex with their animals, and I've done extensive episodes about loser ass whites and how it's shameful for whites to complain and blame the. Can we say the Jays over here, Fatty? Or
this is
the
a national. Yes, the Jays. Yes.
Yeah. So I kick in the back about loser whites as well, man. I'm more disgusted in the fact that whites, particularly white incels, they even exist. I mean, you're wasting your white skin. I mean, and then if blaming the Jays for stubbing your toe, so no, I kick in the backs of everybody.
We shouldn't be talking about race right now. Like, it's not cool, and I'm pretty sure it's probably uncomfortable for
friend.
everybody.
Hey, pick me. There's one thing that we do here is let the host decide what we do or not. I think Emily is grown. She understands what's going on. Like, chaotic is talking about a very specific subset of whites. And this is what chaotic, and this is what I want you to do with blacks. Instead of talking with, like, on a generalized blacks are these, which is something that you do on the regular, do what you did right now. Go talk about the brothers and go talk about the guys that animals and all that. Most white people don't do that, so you are not going to say the whites, right? So this is what I'm talking about. Instead of doing general statements, and you and Anton are the kings of these, right? The blacks and the whites and the blacks and the whites and the blacks and the whites. But then when you talk about the white, talk about a very specific subset of whites, so not every white can be offended. I would call for you in 2026 to do exactly the same thing. We have no problem with you talking about black people. Just go ahead and talk about the J prints that are on the bottom of the barrel. Don't talk about black people like they all J princes and they all are on Section 8 and doing some bullshit and killing each other and all that, because it's actually a minority. Do you agree with me, or you have something to disagree and think it is the majority of people?
I believe that the majority of blacks are really stupid, Fatty, to be completely honest with you, man. I'm gonna tell you why, bro. The majority of blacks, man, have not built institutions and systems in America, man.
They didn't have time.
And
they didn't have time. No, you know what? You can finish after me. And I'm sorry for interrupting you, right?
No, don't worry about it.
Africa been out of colonialism for 60 to 40 years. Black Americans be freed on the last 60 years. Nobody in this planet got back on their feet in 60 years, especially without reparations. The Japanese got reparations. Israel got reparations. The slave owner got reparations. Everybody in the planet that actually got their legs back, the Europeans. Europe was destroyed. Americans did the Marshall Plan. Now Germany and all these countries are very advanced. Same thing with the bombs that you drop in Japan. You can ask for the people that were brutalized, colonialized, and enslaved for 400 years to get back on their feet and to build institutions on 60 years. This is the first decade that you're seeing multi-billionaires when it comes to black people. Just like everybody else, just like the Italians in the 30s, just like the Irish in the 20s, just like everybody else that was supposed to be seen as lower class citizen when they got to the United States. Give black people 100, 200 years like you gave everybody else. And if we get there and they are failing, now we have a problem. But you can't complain and saying that the baby is not running when the baby is supposed to be crawling. And black people are way better right now in 2020 than they were in 1990. The crime is down, the deletion rate is down, violent crimes are down, They are graduating, going to college. They have business. They are way better than they were 30 years ago. So if they are better, why not give them more 30 years like you did everybody else and make sure that they are okay, right? Why judge Donald Trump grandfather and Melania Trump, right? Why don't we talk about those people? Why do they have time to grow into themselves? They have 3, 4, 5 generations to grow into who they are, but black people have to become the end all be all in 50 years when nobody did it before. Go ahead and interrupt it. I'm going to mute myself.
You don't have to mute yourself. I stand by what I say, man. I think our people are really stupid, bro. To be honest with you. I already said what I had to say, bro. We don't create anything in America. We don't have any institutions or systems, bro. We don't even name our children black. We don't even give our children African names in this country, man. You name your kids after white people, bro. It's man. I could go all night, fatty. I don't want to, bro.
Wait, just to make sure. You want black people to name their kids African names?
That's not the point. The point is the point, fatty, is that black people are so far behind the curve, and it's not that people are exploiting us; is that we allow the exploitation to happen.
Mm-hmm. How do you allow it?
That's crazy.
It's like
what is the average religion? What is the average religion of a black in America? What is the average religion?
Is 1 second. Is Christianity, because their grandparents and great grandparents were colonized and they were enslaved. He's like you say. It's not a personal, like, it's something that is passed on your culture. It's like, for example, white Americans talk English. They talk English because they were dominated by the British. The British talk English. There's a reason why they don't talk French, right? That's literally what it is. The main culture dominates you. There was somebody in Italy called the Pope that decided that y'all going to read this shit, and now everybody, for whatever reason, says, Father, like that the history is for the winners. The winners write history. So the same way white people are being dominated by the Jays, right? Right? The same way the American government doesn't have money to take care of the homeless, take care of the veterans, but has money to send to Israel, to send to Argentina, to send to all these places, right? We don't say, white people, why are you letting yourself dominated by the Jays? This is not a American white people person. This is a politician's problem. This is a problem from the politician, not the average white people. So why do you put that on blacks? Like, why do you put things that are literally decided on the grand level, redlining, gerrymandering, all these things? Why should a black average person should be ashamed when this is a call from above? They have nothing to do with it.
Again, it just proves my point of how powerless and stupid we are. I mean, why aren't we at the top? Why don't we have any textile companies? Why don't we have any steel companies? That ain't got nothing to do with the white man.
Because you didn't have time. Because you didn't have time. That's what I said. Because you didn't have time. The infrastructure was owned by white people. Jewish people had the power to go and buy media stations and a banking system, every infrastructure, because they got reparations. Black people didn't got nothing. If you gave the money that you give to Israel, if you gave him Wakanda like you give him Israel, if you gave every access to these people, there will be more banks that are black. There will be more media that will be black. There will be more TV stations that are black. You got him a bag and says, get the fuck out of my face and go be free. Nobody, everybody got it other than black people. So you can't complain when you didn't give people the 40 acres in the mall. You can complain when until 30 years ago, banks weren't even lending money to black people because they didn't want them to get houses and all that. You can complain about red lighting. You can complain. Should people bask on slavery and oppression? Absolutely not. You're never going to see me and Ali say that black people should be victims. But coming in and painting them as that people are not trying, not getting better, getting the CDLs, be truckers. Most of your donators are black. You must be doing something. Most of my donators are black too. Treat me nothing but nice. So respectfully, give them time, give them the infrastructure, give them actually the power, and let them fail. If you don't give them nothing, right, and then you complain they have nothing to work with, respectfully, it's not fair, it's not right. You should actually give opportunity to people to strive for greatness. If they fail, now we complain. But these people have no opportunities at all. They are living 3 paychecks away from being homeless, just like most of white population. So I don't understand, like, why are these people called losers when, if by the same metric, most of white Mexicans, people from, I don't know, Alaska, most of them are losers just like everybody else.
Fair enough.
And aren't you a history major? Aren't you a historian?
I have a degree in Pan-African studies. Yeah, Pan-African
Ali, just one second. Ali, just 1 second. Chaotic. I don't want it to say this, but I'll say it, right?
Go.
And you say that black people are controlled by white people or are letting themselves be exploited by white people. You have a Greek brand on your arm or something like that. Aren't you a sorority, dude?
Yeah, fatty. I'm in the sorority.
Don't you have a Greek? Don't you have a Greek brand like a slave? Don't you have, like, they used to brand the slaves with the mother iron on their back? Don't you have one of those from Greece?
Did I get mine in Greece? No, but it is.
No. Do you have a Greece symbol branded on your body that is from a fraternity? Do you have it?
Yes.
I rest my case. Still love you though. Still love you. Let me go get some water.
That plane landed hard as.
Now, here's the thing, guys. I don't like reparations either. And here's my stance on it, because Candace Owens, she talked about reparations a couple of years ago, and I made a video about it.
Why don't you think we deserve reparations?
I do not think that we deserve reparations for slavery. I was never a slave in this country, and I think that the idea, if you think that you're going to get more than $200 from the government, okay, this entire debate is just it's a joke, okay? It's never going to happen. Do you think that we're the only group? I'm just going to ask you this question, that has had something awful happen to them in this country? Should the Japanese get reparations for the internment camps?
Yes,
Should the Irish, all the Irish, who's Irish in this room? Raise your hand. Should they get, that's a lot of Irish people. Should they get reparations for the Irish did not apply during the Progressive era and all the terrible things that happened to them? What about the Jewish people? Should they get reparations for the Holocaust? No matter where you go in history, someone was oppressed. You cannot look to correct history by thinking that you're gonna get a small check, because every single person in this room would get a check. It's just a means for them to seize you emotionally and make you think that you deserve something or you're going to get something. And if they actually factually did it, it would probably amount to $400 that you couldn't even spend at a club on a weekend.
My thing is, here's my biggest point, right? Because I was going back and forth with my mama all the time about it. And my thing is, I would rather take reparations and laws. Give us some laws that protect black people, right? When it comes down to reparations, not money. Because here's the thing, right? Because some of your people will sit here and say, what makes you think that the government is going to give us some laws that's going to protect us? What makes you think the government is going to do right by us? Okay, well, then I would just have to simply ask, okay, well, how much money do you think the government was going to give you? How much money do you think the government was going to give you? The government probably wasn't going to give you jack squiddly squat. Probably $300, $400. Like, what are we gonna do with that? People are gonna spend that on money, weed, whatever. They're gonna spend it on whatever. And my mama said it herself. She was like, I don't care, just give me my money, right? I can invest it. And it's like, okay, that's fine, right? You're gonna have a small group of people who are gonna invest the $300, $400 that the government gives you, which is a slap in the face, right? But they're gonna give you a $300, $400 with no laws. We're gonna blow through that. Once again, that does not cover. That does not protect us long term, right? If we're going to sit here and say that, hey, well, we need something, man, because our ancestors went through this, it needs to be laws, right? And they're going to talk about, hey, well, they can give us land, right? They can give us land. Give who land, right? Give who land. So they're going to sit over here and give each black person land. That's not going to happen. And then you also going to have to ask, if it ain't going to be individually, who is going to be the person that they give it to, and we say, okay, well, this is what we're all going to do as black folk, and this is where we're all going to congregate. Theoretically, it sounds good, right? But I mean, let's just keep it a bean. It's not going to work, right? I mean, we had a one shot or one opportunity with BLM, right? The BLM movement. Now you see, they were sitting here taking all the donation money and stealing it. So when the government says, you know what, we're going to give y'all land. Come on, bro. So once again, man, they're not going to give up power. They're not going to give up power that we think we deserve. And we just got to keep it a bean. I would say give us laws. I mean, especially when you have, if I'm not mistaken, Joe Biden or whoever passed a Asian hate bill. I mean, like, you mean to tell me, like, we didn't have Rodney King and all of this stuff, and you mean to tell me we still haven't had nothing, no law passed? But, you know, you're going to have some people worrying about money instead of worrying about some laws that can protect us through generations. Once again, our ancestors did whatever they needed to do to help us out, to help the next generation or the next generations. So we should do the exact same thing. Hey, we can care less about the money. If you want to give us money, that's fine. How about you pass some laws, man, that help us get into some better situations? That's all I'm saying when it comes out to reparations. And then when it comes down to him being a frat, I mean, you know, Fatty did kind of destroy you, brother. But I mean, you being a frat boy, I shouldn't have to pay thousands of dollars. Right, thousands of dollars to call somebody my brother. That's just not going to happen. That's stupid. You don't have to do that with sports. You don't have to do that with football. Bro, not everybody get a scholarship. You know, okay, man. Well, what about people, man, who still go to school and don't go to school for football, don't go to school for sports? You're paying thousands of dollars to jump into a fraternity, right? You getting freaking branded like a cattle, and you want to sit here and say that you're pro-black. Come on, man. Like, we got to stop there, because we already know, man, the root of all of these Greek fraternities, right? Greek gods, Greek worshipers. We already know. Come on, man. Let's stop the BS. And don't get me wrong, your fraternities, they stand on something, right? They present themselves well. So I'm not knocking it for, I'm not knocking them for, the intentions. But at the end of the day, it's like, what is behind the Greek fraternity? But like I said, I'm not paying thousands of dollars to call somebody my brother. But do me a huge favor, leave me a like, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel. To the next one.